What's good, everybody? SGF Day 3. I'm here with the fam Cam. We just got a chance to check out the Xbox Showcase, and man, there was a ton of games in that bad boy that we got a chance to check out. But I want to dig into some of the top picks really quick and then kind of dig a little bit deeper. Cam, what were some of your favorite games that got shown throughout the show?
Yeah, the one that stuck out the most to me for sure was Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm.
It's this like awesome turn-based, but also real-time action game that we're getting that Ben Starr, Clive from Final Fantasy 16 is voicing the character in. And it just looks really cool, really refreshing for something like that, the presentation. I just want to know everything about that game moving forward. That was what I loved the most. And then I really loved South of Midnight.
Oh, man.
When that got announced last year, I was like, okay, cool. That was, I like the kind of NOLA vibes that it was bringing. And like, obviously having a black female protagonist was awesome.
Yep.
But just historically with Compulsion, their games like just work for me. Like, I'm not that they're particularly bad, but after seeing the gameplay in action, like I did not expect this.
Nope.
From South of Midnight.
Yep.
And so now I'm just like, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
So that I'm super excited about that. And I think we should really talk about Mixtape, the new Annapurna game. Annapurna is known for having banger after banger after banger.
They don't miss.
They really don't miss. But this just feels like some next level stuff.
It was like a nostalgia trip for me, especially because of the music in the trailer. Like that stuff from my childhood and my youth when I was a youth. And it felt like this kind of like coming of age story, but that like teenage angst story that we don't get a chance to really see a lot of. Like we do get a chance to see things in like a thing like Life is Strange, which also got announced as well. But this game felt like from a visual direction perspective, from a vibe perspective, that they were just doing something very different than either Annapurna has really done, and seeing that it was from Beethoven and Dinosaur, who I absolutely love, that just added another layer to it that I thought was fantastic.
I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. But Kyle, what were the 3 games that stood out to you?
Ooh, I mean, State of Decay 3 was a big one for me. I was excited to see them kind of dig into that a little bit more in a much bigger way. Fable, of course, we got a chance to check out some more of that, which I was expecting to see, but didn't know if it was going to be kind of shown in the space. And of course, we have to talk about Gears of War.
Yes, Gears of War E-Day was announced at the very end of the Xbox showcase.
Yeah.
And my big question is, why? Why are we going back to Marcus and Dom? Like, Gears 5 ended on a huge cliffhanger. And I know that, like, the new generation of Gears of War has been hit and miss for folks. But I want that story finished. And I didn't like Gears. I didn't really care for Gears of War 4 that much. I think it's like easily the worst in the series. And I think Gears 5 is criminally underrated. I think it was one of the best games that came out that year. I loved the themes of like weapons of mass destruction and like the sacrifices that should or shouldn't be taken during a war.
Yeah.
And now we're going back to Marcus and Dom, and it just feels odd. Like those stories are done. Like, what is it? What are we getting out of going back to these characters? Like the earliest in the timeline we've ever seen them.
Yeah, I mean it's hard, right? Because I think for me when I was watching it, and it was the thing I was trying to predict. I was like, are we going to see Gears in this show? And I was super excited to see that Gears is actually going to be coming back out. Excited about the UE5 layers of it with the technology that we have now. But I can't front. I was a little disappointed to see that we're doing another retro, right? We're doing another retcon of that older story. I really want the future of Gears of War.
Yes.
I want to see technology in that world grow.
Yeah.
I want to see what the Lancer is going to be in the future. All of that stuff. And still, when I think about my feelings when I got a chance to see it, I'm still excited for it.
I'm still going to play it.
But I'm also like, man, there was an opportunity there. And also, maybe this is a twist. I'm going to throw it out there as some fake news that's going to be out in the world. But maybe we got this, and maybe this isn't the story that we're going to wind up getting. Maybe this is a flashback into some other part of a story that we might not be able to see yet. But the E-Day part of it lends to the idea that it is a reimagining or a retelling of the beginnings and origin story of Dom and crew. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish that they instead, if they really wanted to go back to Marcus and Dom, remake Gears of War 2. It's the best Gears of War game, in my opinion. And I would love to see that game get a fresh coat of paint. And I think it still deserves it. I played it recently. It still holds up incredibly well. I think it was, ahead of its time in this kind of set pieces that it was introducing into a shooter campaign. And so, like, yes, there's potential for them to do that in E-Day, but I would have rather had a side team work on a Gears of War 2 remake and then have the Coalition just be focusing on Gear 6.
Yeah, we're going to have more conversations around the Xbox Showcase because we also want to talk about the overall show and talk about, like, what do we think about the overall show. But you're not going to get that right now. You're going to get that a little bit later when we come back from SGF and hanging out. So we're going to talk more about all of that and more when we get back home, and much more on our socials and on our YouTube and TikTok channels. So make sure you're checking all that out. Camp Final Mix at Kahlief Adams. Much love. See you soon.